Welcome to the Lifestyle MD podcast, a podcast dedicated to high-achieving women who are conquering their careers while striving for total wellness. I am Dr. Angela Andrews, and I am thrilled to be your guide on this journey. Hello! Welcome to another episode of the Lifestyle MD. I am your host, Dr. Angela, and this is episode number 18. Today's episode is a continuation of the topic of gratitude. In the last episode, I explained gratitude mindset, and I discussed the physical and mental benefits of a gratitude mindset, specifically improved sleep, stress reduction, better immune system, and reduction in cardiovascular disease. Today, I'm going to wrap up the topic of gratitude and explain the link between a gratitude mindset, improved energy, and better weight management. Before I jump into the topic, let's revisit what it means to have a gratitude mindset. Recall that having a gratitude mindset involves cultivating a sense of thankfulness and expressing appreciation for the present moment, acknowledging the contribution of others to one's well-being. It's not just enough to be grateful for what you have and how things are going in your life, but it's also important that you express gratitude toward others' contribution to what's happening good in your life, because we cannot do anything alone. And it goes way beyond positive thinking. It involves a sincere recognition of the value and the abundance of various aspects of things going on in your life. So we talked about characteristics of people with a gratitude mindset, and I elaborated on research findings that support the health benefits of a gratitude mindset. I'm not going to recap all of the details of the last episode here, so if you would like to hear more about what I had to say, please listen to episode number 17. In the meantime, let's get into it. All right, first, I'm going to discuss energy, the link between energy and gratitude. Then I'm going to explore the link between gratitude mindset and weight management. Finally, I will conclude with tips on how you can go about cultivating your own gratitude mindset. You're probably wondering, what does gratitude have to do with energy? I'll tell you that the link between gratitude and energy is really a spin or a continuation of what I've already discussed. Expressing gratitude boosts your body's production of dopamine. Again, this is the feel-good chemical. The more dopamine you have, the more motivated you feel, the more good feelings you have, and thus the more energy you have, specifically the energy of the emotional and psychological sense. This allows you to tackle your goals and tasks and generally to be more productive. And when you are more productive, this in turn increases your motivation and further supports a feel-good mental state. You should also recall that expressing gratitude activates the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is instrumental in sleep regulation. People who practice gratitude, therefore, have better sleep. And naturally, the better you sleep, the more energy you have. Here's some evidence to back up what I'm telling you. Researchers at the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania discovered that when leaders openly express gratitude to their employees, the productivity of their team increases. Research also indicates that recording what we are grateful for on a regular basis allows us to experience greater satisfaction in all aspects of our life, whether at work or at home. The research also went on to conclude that focusing on gratitude boosts levels of productivity and positivity. Studies have also shown that receiving and displaying simple acts of kindness, which can be an expression of gratitude, activates the hypothalamus. So a brain that is filled with gratitude and kindness is more likely to sleep better and wake up feeling refreshed and energetic every morning. It stands to reason that a person who has a gratitude mindset is going to have an overall positive state of mind. You're going to get better sleep. You're going to have healthier relationships with people around you at work and at home. Just is going to produce your positive feel-good feelings, which is going to lead to more motivation, greater productivity. And it's just a cycle that continues to feed upon itself. As far as weight management goes, this might be a little bit more difficult to grasp, but let's give it a try. Our mindset governs how we approach eating. It defines our relationship with food and the choices we make as it pertains to food. And not even just with food, but the choices we make and how we spend our time and whether or not we even exercise. Emotional eating is one of the most common reasons that people struggle with overweight and obesity. Emotional eating is when a person seeks food for comfort, stress relief, or as a reward, rather than for solely nutritional purposes. Now, I'll be honest with you, as human beings, we don't eat solely for nutritional purposes. No human being, okay, I shouldn't say no human being, but vast majority of us do not eat solely for nutritional purposes. However, there can become a point where emotional eating takes over and it becomes in excess of what would be considered natural and healthy. This is especially true when your triggers are things like stress, boredom, sadness, and sometimes even happiness. It's not just about satisfying your physical need, but it's about coping with emotional issues. And then when someone engages in emotional eating due to triggers like stress, boredom, and sadness, it just further perpetuates a cycle of guilt, which then leads to further eating. And unfortunately, the underlying emotional issues remain unaddressed. Let me be clear. Addressing emotional eating requires a lot more than just a focus on gratitude. However, I still believe that it's a useful tool to help you get there in your journey to healing. Having a gratitude mindset is something that you can utilize to help you be more mindful about your eating and also to help you manage some of the factors that may be triggers for your emotional eating. For instance, managing stress and avoiding stress triggers. Having a gratitude mindset helps lower stress levels and boost positive emotions, leading to increased ability to cope without having to turn to food. Having a gratitude mindset helps you to deal with emotions in a healthier way by focusing on gratitude over negative feelings. This then changes the language of your internal dialogue from one of scarcity to one of growth, from one of lacking to one of opportunity, so that you're not needing or feeling the need to turn to food to fill a void. And finally, developing a more mindful relationship with food can occur when you have lower levels of stress, increased levels of serotonin and dopamine because of the gratitude mindset. This will then put you in a better position to approach eating from a more neutral perspective instead of one that is from a state of heightened emotion or depression. A positive mindset helps facilitate motivation. And when you have gratitude, it enhances your desire to engage in healthy behaviors, whether that be healthy food choices, regular exercise, or even meditation. As far as evidence is concerned, studies have shown that participants who practice gratitude have reduced levels of cortisol. And recall that high levels of cortisol cause the body to hold on to excess weight. The body senses high levels of cortisol as a state of stress and perceives this as a fight or flight scenario, wanting to then preserve or reserve energy for a future disaster or a future state of scarcity. Again, that's scarcity mindset. So whether or not you are intentionally thinking it or feeling it, your body is perceiving it. Easy, right? Express gratitude, give thanks, show generosity to others, exhibit kindness, and voila, you have more energy and better weight management. Okay, so it's really actually not that easy, but developing a gratitude mindset is part of the formula for a healthy lifestyle. As with all things, I always encourage people to have a comprehensive approach. You need to have an all-encompassing healthy lifestyle in order to optimize your overall health. And the fact of the matter is, just as developing new habits takes time, reaping the benefits of positive change takes time. Also, you have to start somewhere. So let's begin with identifying some pre-existing unconscious negative thought patterns that may be getting in the way of your ability to have a gratitude mindset in the first place. We all have them. Here's some examples from some clients that I've worked with. I don't like to exercise, or I don't exercise because I'm lazy. I don't prepare food ahead of time because I'm too lazy. Exercise is boring. So once you recognize that you have these negative thought patterns and you identify them, you can then reframe your thinking around truth, or at least reframe your thinking around something that is more kind of likely to incline you to engage in the activity that you're avoiding. As for the example of I don't exercise because I'm too lazy, I had to call my client out on this one because I know for a fact that she is not lazy. She is an incredibly successful woman. In fact, both of these examples about being too, quote, lazy to prepare food and exercise are completely false. But the reality is she just doesn't enjoy them. It doesn't motivate her. In order to change her mindset, we have to first reframe that. She's not exercising because she doesn't want to. So what is it going to take for her to want to exercise? If you are blaming it on something that you cannot change, theoretically, then you have no control over it. You can't do anything about it. But once you reframe it as something that you actually can change, then you can act on it. Even if there is truth in some of our negative thought patterns. For instance, I don't like exercise, so I'm not going to do it. It's not necessarily the whole truth, right? So it took several weeks of pointing out this client's negative viewpoint and negative frame of mind before she was able to register what she was saying to herself and start to correct it and start avoiding saying terms like I'm lazy or I'm too lazy and that's why I'm not doing that. Because that's just a cop-out, quite frankly. She was reinforced she was incapable of change, and this provoked feelings of helplessness, hopelessness, and that would then lead her to not even bothering to try to exercise, not bothering to eat healthy or prepare food ahead of time. And this then worked to reinforce this belief that she was incapable because she was too lazy. Now she clearly recognizes that she isn't lazy. I mean, she knew that all along, but maybe it was easier for her to say that she was lazy lazy than to accept that she actually had control over what was happening. Like I said, she's an incredibly accomplished woman, so there's no way that she's lazy. So her thought patterns needed to go from I can't to I don't want to, all the way to I can and I will. To get to that point, we had to dig into the feelings that she was having. Why was she avoiding it? What was it about the exercise that she was avoiding that she didn't want to do it? Again, I'm lazy is a reason to justify not doing it, right? Because you can't for whatever reason, right? And maybe she doesn't like exercise. In fact, I know that she doesn't. She avoids it. But what about exercise does she like? She likes that she feels more energetic afterwards, has identified that as a positive feeling each and every time. She likes seeing a more sculpted frame as an outcome of continuous regular exercise, and also the net benefit of ongoing boost of energy that she experiences over the course of the week. So if we change our focus from the immediate expectation or feeling of I don't want to exercise because I know in that moment I'm not necessarily going to enjoy it, and look just past that and say, you know what, I really like how it feels when I exercise. I like how it feels after I exercise. And I really like the outcome of that. And if you're reframing it towards, I'm going to exercise because I really want to feel good. I really want to have more energy. I really want to achieve that sculpted frame. Now your feelings about it go from negativity, hopelessness, to optimism and excitement and hope and anticipation of positive results that she wants to experience, right? So what are some practical strategies that you can utilize to cultivate gratitude in your daily life? For one, I think you should start identifying the stories that you're telling yourself and the thoughts that you are rehearsing in your mind, and reframe them to one of gratitude, to a tone of excitement and joy. Reframe it towards things that you actually appreciate and love and look forward to. This will then shift your focus and promote more positive feelings and lead to bold action and reinforce powerful beliefs. Consistency is really the key when it comes to cultivating a gratitude mindset. Gratitude is not something that you do once a day. I've talked about this before. It is an ongoing practice that you need to reinforce on a consistent and regular basis. Eventually, it will become second nature. Some practical steps you can take to start incorporating this into your daily activities and your daily life. You can start with a gratitude journal. That's just a pinpoint in time, or that's a designated time during the day, or it's an activity that you do, but that just kind of gets you started. So be specific and as detailed as possible. You don't have to write down long paragraphs. You can just simply start by writing down 3 items or 3 things that you are appreciative for, that you have gratitude for on a daily basis. You can express gratitude to others on a daily basis. So take time to actually verbally or even in writing express your appreciation to friends, family, colleagues, coworkers. Take time to acknowledge their contributions and express gratitude to them. Practice mindfulness and stay present and fully appreciate your surroundings. Mindfulness doesn't have to be an exercise that we restrict to meditation. You can be mindful at any and every moment of your life. Oftentimes, when we have times of silence or dead space where there's not something going on, most of us find ourselves turning to our phone. We'll start scrolling through social media, responding to text messages, reading email. What if when you feel the prompt to do that because you have some downtime, you actually just paused and just took in your surroundings, looked around you? What if instead of looking at your phone, you looked up, you listened to the sounds, you felt your breath going in and out of your chest, you observed what other people were doing, you felt what the ground feels like underneath your feet, you feel what the clothes feel like on your body. You just connect with all of your senses. Just take a moment to connect with your environment, the people around you. Use that as an opportunity to be mindful as opposed to getting lost in your phone. Shift your perspective. Reframe the challenges that you experience as opportunities for growth. Identify potential positive outcomes. View setbacks as opportunities for learning instead of getting caught up in all the negative downsides. We talked about establishing a gratitude ritual around journaling, but you can have a gratitude ritual at night as well. You can have a gratitude ritual at dinner time. We pray as a family every time we sit to eat, whether it's for breakfast or dinner. We don't often have lunch together, but that is something that is a regular part of our family routine. And in our prayer, we always take opportunities to express gratitude. You can have gratitude at nighttime. You can have a moment of silent reflection, whatever that may be for you, but incorporate it in other aspects of your day as well. Celebrate achievements. This is something that it took me a little while to figure out, honestly. Sometimes we get kind of used to what we are doing and it just kind of like looks pretty normal to us because it's just our normal day to day. We don't celebrate achievements. No matter how big or how small, every accomplishment should be something that you express gratitude for. Think about when you have a young child and the first time they go to the potty on their own. That's something that we take for granted on a daily basis, but it had to start somewhere. They had to learn how to do it. As an adult, we're not celebrating every time we go poop, although I know, if you have constipation on a regular basis, you might be celebrating every time you go poop. But it is important that we celebrate achievements. It's easy for us to neglect achievements and they just become pretty mundane and routine because we just kind of expect it. But kind of take a look from the outside in. Is there something or some things that you've done in your life that maybe are pretty extraordinary? And even if they're not extraordinary, are they exceptional? Are they different? Did you have to stretch yourself in some way to accomplish it? You should celebrate that. It doesn't have to be a big party. Just express gratitude to yourself and be thankful. You know, my coach once told me that I needed to express gratitude to my body for dealing with me effectively, going through these challenges, for carrying me through my bodybuilding training to help me get on the other side of that and have a victory. To be thankful that I had the body and the capability to do that. Not everyone can do that for all sorts of reasons. I never actually paused to express gratitude to my physical body for being able to tolerate that and for doing it with me. Practice thankfulness in adversity. We all face challenges all the time. And the fact that you're able to come to the other side of a challenge, that should be something that we're grateful for, because there's always possibility that something positive will emerge on the other side. But even sometimes just emerging on the other side is something to be grateful for. Surround yourself with other people who are expressing gratitude that can help uplift and inspire you in similar ways. And finally, I'll just reiterate one more time, reflect on your daily blessings before you go to bed so that you set yourself up for a positive experience before bedtime. All right, that's it for today. I really hope you found this episode to be helpful. I kind of got a little carried away toward the end, but I wanted to make sure I gave you as many opportunities as possible to develop a gratitude mindset. Remember, a gratitude mindset is a mental and emotional orientation that is characterized by regular practice of acknowledging and appreciating the positive aspects of one's life. It's not just about thinking positively, but you need to reframe your thoughts and avoid scarcity and avoid this negative downward spiral that some of us get caught up into. Embracing a gratitude mindset has been associated with numerous mental and emotional and even physical benefits. I've covered a lot of those between this episode and the last one. Cardiovascular benefits, improved immune function, pain tolerance that is heightened, better sleep, better energy, reduced stress, better focus, and easier time managing your weight. I encourage all of you to embrace gratitude and to try to help others around you embrace gratitude. If you found this episode helpful, I encourage you to share it with someone else who may benefit. I also encourage you to return, where the next topic will be about gut health and mental health. I will specifically talk about how your gut influences your mental well-being and your emotional well-being. All right, thanks again for tuning in. Remember to share the podcast. If you have an idea for an episode and you would like to share it with me, you can email me at angelalifestylemd@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at AngelaLifestyleMD. Hope you have a good one. Take care. Bye. This has been another episode of The Lifestyle MD. Special thank you to Lou Musa for the show theme music, created with Free Photography and makeup by Janae for the cover photo. And if you enjoyed this podcast and you haven't already, please subscribe today and share with another woman doctor who may benefit. You may also follow me on Instagram at Angela Lifestyle MD. I am Dr. Angela. Thank you for joining me today.